Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a motorhome so rare, so outrageously stylish, that even today it feels like it drove straight out of a sci-fi movie and parked next to your witty router just to judge your life choices. We're talking about the 1937 Western Clipper motorhome, a machine that didn't just travel roads, it made the roads feel underdressed. And before we roll into this chrome-plated fever dream, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel, because if you don't, somewhere out there a vintage engine refuses to start, and I'm pretty sure it's personal. Now, let's rewind to late 1930s America, a time when design was bold, optimism was high, and people genuinely believed the future would involve flying everything. Into this world stepped Brooks Stevens, a name that still makes car designers nod respectfully like politicians pretending to understand economics. Stevens wasn't just a designer, he was the guy. Jeep Wagoneer, him. Studebaker Gran Turismo Hawk, him. Even the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Yes, that rolling hot dog fever dream, also him. Before World War II reshaped industries, Stevens was already experimenting with what he called house cars, not just vehicles, but rolling statements. The Western Clipper was born when the head of Western Printing asked for something outrageous, a fleet of mobile offices that could also serve as promotional vehicles. Basically a business meeting on wheels, because apparently, even in the 1930s, people were tired of conference room. Between 1937 and 1941, Stevens is believed to have designed around 26 Clippers. That number is still debated, like how many times my friend Timmy said he'd quit drinking and actually meant it. Each Clipper was a one-off, custom-built, depending on the client's needs. Some were shorter, some longer, all of them unique like snowflakes, but with engines and better posture. Most of these were likely built by the Lemoon Truck Company in Chicago, using an International Cab over-engine chassis. And here's where it gets interesting: front-wheel drive in the 1930s. Yes, decades before it became mainstream. Stevens wanted a lower floor and more headroom, which meant the Clipper wasn't just stylish, it was smart. Meanwhile, my neighbor Bob still thinks front-wheel drive is a government conspiracy to control turning radiuses. Technically, the Clipper packed a flathead V8 engine, not a monster by modern standards, but more than enough to move what was essentially a rolling luxury apartment. The layout allowed for impressive interior space while keeping the total length under 20 feet or about 6 meters. That meant it could still navigate city streets and park downtown, which is more than I can say for most modern SUVs driven by people who treat parking lines like abstract art. Inside, depending on the version, you could find everything from air conditioning and running water to full sleeping quarters, a bathroom, kitchen appliances, sofas, and office space. It was the ultimate multitasker, a vehicle that could sell products by day and host existential crises by night. Timmy once tried to build something similar in his garage. We now refer to that incident as the Great Extension Cord Fire. The engineering philosophy behind the Western Clipper was simple but revolutionary: flexibility, efficiency, and elegance. Stevens believed this concept could define the future of vehicles, a single machine capable of adapting to multiple roles without compromise. And honestly, he wasn't wrong. He was just about 50 years too early, which is basically the inventor's version of showing up to a party before the host is even born. The Clipper wasn't just transportation, it was a statement, a rolling vision of what mobility could be: efficient, stylish, and just a little bit absurd in the best possible way. And unlike most modern concepts, it actually existed, even if today it feels more like a myth, whispered among collectors and historians. If the Western Clipper looked futuristic in 1937, it's because it absolutely was. Its design borrowed heavily from the Zeppelin era, with smooth curves, rounded edges, and that unmistakable Art Deco confidence, the kind that says, yes, I am expensive, and no, you can't park next to me. The body flowed like it had no interest in right angles, which made it look fast, even when standing still. Meanwhile, Bob insists curves like that are clearly aerodynamic for alien docking procedures. Sure, Bob, sure. Or inside, the philosophy was just as bold. This wasn't just about comfort. It was about redefining how space worked in a vehicle. The Clipper blended office, home, and showroom into a single environment without feeling cramped. Large windows improved visibility and natural light, making it feel less like a vehicle and more like a moving lounge for deals, dreams, and probably a few questionable business decisions. Stevens believed this concept could replace trailers entirely, easier to drive, safer, and far more elegant. And yet, despite all this brilliance, the Western Clipper remained elusive. Only a handful survived. One beautifully restored example now lives in the Harley-Davidson Museum in Milwaukee, quietly reminding visitors that the future almost arrived early. Another unit discovered in Chicago surfaced at auction in 2019. It was in rough condition, missing its original engine, and still managed to sell for over $60,000. Not bad for something that looked like it had survived both time and Timmy's repair attempts, which, trust me, is a miracle on its own. There's something undeniably charming about the Clipper. It wasn't just ahead of its time, it ignored time altogether. It dared to imagine a world where vehicles adapted to people, not the other way around, and honestly, that kind of thinking deserves respect. And maybe a standing ovation, preferably not from politicians, because they'd probably try to tax it retroactively. Now, let's talk numbers, because even unicorns eventually meet auctioneers. Back in its day, pricing wasn't standardized due to its custom-built nature, but it was clearly aimed at wealthy business clients. Fast forward to modern times, and we see that 2019 sale crossing the $60,000 mark at auction despite poor condition. That sale took place at a specialized collector auction with an estimate of $30,000 that it confidently doubled, like Timmy doubling his just one drink promise. Today, depending on condition and originality, a Western Clipper could command significantly higher prices, especially if fully restored. We're talking serious collector money. In the end, the 1937 Western Clipper motorhome stands as a rolling paradox, rare yet influential, forgotten yet unforgettable. It's the kind of machine that makes you smile, think, and maybe question why your modern car can't make you coffee yet. Huge thanks to all the sponsors of the channel. Yes, you legends who support this madness. Without you, I'd probably be reviewing shopping carts and calling them urban mobility solution. And as a final piece of advice, if you ever find an old, weird-looking vehicle in a dusty garage, don't call Timmy. Call a professional. Trust me on this one.